Hey guys, long time no see. Well, it's been a while for me, but it's probably about a week for you. So, we've had a bit of issues since the last time we did some filming. So I was working on my master's project. 2 days before the hand-in, my laptop died. I lost everything. Had 2 days doing my project. I got 2 days extension, so I had 4 days doing master's projects. So that was some rough times. So F's in the chat, guys. F's in the chat. But don't matter, it's done now. We've got some time to finally fix the MX5. So we've got the steering rack and the steering rack spacers here. We're going to whack them on. And because I can't be bothered to do it, I'm going to send it off to the garage so they can have the hassle of whacking it on the car. So then we've got a steering rack on. I'm going to get on the phone to the insurance, get the windscreen sorted. We'll put the airbag in a bit today as well. So soon we'll be roaming around in the little MX5, having great times. So let's crack on with it. So here's our steering rack. Second hand, got it from the old eBay. £65 I think it was. Well, that's not too bad really. Let's get it open. Oh. Let's use the scissors, fool. Mind my sliders. School me and buy my sliders. Nice. So it's obviously in a lot better condition than the one we've got on at the minute. Not a bad example. Not bad for 65 quid, is it that? So let's get the rack spacers on. Okay, no, a bit more than that. So I realised that I did a video about this, putting them on the car, but just in case it wasn't as clear, I'm going to do it again off the car. It's obviously going to be a lot easier putting them on when the steering rack's off the car. So, but if you need to see how to do it on the car, just watch the other video, the second video. I don't know if I can do links and whatever, so if I can't see it, if not, just go on and try to find the other video. So again, it's just these two 5mm spacers that we're going to put on underneath this boot here, and it just, again, it just extends the steering rack. Well, it appears as if the steering rack's been extended by 5mm, so you do have to bring the track rod ends in by 5mm, but we'll get that done when we take it back down to Leicester to get the tracking done properly. Again. Okay, so first, obviously, we need to take this boot off. Oh, I'm working with professional axles, professional, bloody hell, I cannot speak. Professional steering rack jack, obviously. Okay, so then we just pull the boot up. There we go. Not quite. The other end. Div. There we go. This is the bit we're after. Okay, so we just have to take this locking spacer off first and then take this off. However, I've realised that we haven't got a spanner big enough, so we're going to go get a spanner big enough, then we'll just flick this locking spacer off, and then this locking spacer will stay off, and the steering rack spacer literally just sits in there, and then a bit longer. So yeah, so we'll go grab a spanner and we'll come back and give it another go. So we'll just take this locking spacer off first, we'll just bend it off here. So we've got a bigger spanner. So after realising that I was trying to righty-tighty and a lot of standy-handy and twisty-wisty, we managed to get it off. So we did this off camera so I didn't look like a complete pillock, and I got sofa involved trying to hold it while I tightened it up, just so it wasn't an easier job. You know, you got to tighten it up first, obviously. So yeah, we'll just unscrew this, put the spacer on, put some Loctite on, put some grease on, put it back on, do the other side. Okay, so the rack ends off. This spacer, don't need that.
Goodbye.
So we're getting one of these little bad boys. This literally just slides on here and goes back in, but before we do that, because we do not want that to come off, I have some Loctite around here somewhere. Find the Loctite. Needs my glue stick. Put some glue stick, aka Loctite, on the thread. Back to primary school days when you got your prick stick. Oh, it's so greasy there. I haven't got my gloves on again, it's like a sausage. Oh, that must have been old stuff. There we go. Now it's moist. So we'll put plenty of Loctite on. So there's a couple of types of Loctite. I think there's a red one and some other ones. But Jacob, our Profesh mechanic, that's the one, said to get blue. So we'll just put some blue on all around there. That's nice, that'll be enough. Because it'll spread as we put it back in. Because we do not want this coming loose again. So that's nice, we'll whack that back in. Back in it goes. And let me straighten this out so I can actually bend it, twist it straight. There we go, so there's our little spacer. Oops, not, come on. There we go. Don't want to cross thread this either. So now that's as far as that will go. So notice the difference, obviously, where we've taken the locking spacer off, which you can just see here. So we've taken that spacer off. That spacer's no longer on because now we've got our actual rack spacer there. So we'll tighten the bagger up, which was a hassle last time, trying to loosen it. There we go. That's on tight, and the Loctite will obviously help to kind of seize it on. Is my understanding of Loctite. Happy days. So then we'll just probably put a bit of grease on that. Actually, I'm going to wipe the rest of the Loctite off there because I don't want it to get stuck in here when we start turning. So just put a bit of grease on that now. Just make sure it's gonna slide nicely when it goes inside the steering rack. And this hole should be there. I've absolutely just hit a brick when I realised I thought it was a spacer that broke, but it wasn't. It was just in the rack itself. So that side's done. Let's put the boot back on. So just need to get some cable ties to cable tie that back on. Oh, we can put this little metal thing back on actually. There we go, and this clip. Okay, so now the only other thing that needs doing is if we undo this and take the rod end out, and then if we, just to get a rough estimate of how much of the 5 mils, we'll slide this in and then put the bolt back on because we have to bring this in 5 mils. So we'll just do that now. Okay, so once you've loosened this, if you just wind this out again, so this is all this is. It's just a rough estimate, so it's not too bad when we put it on the car when we're on the way to getting it tracked. Because these rod ends are going to be 5 mil too far out because of the extension we've just put in, the space we've just put in on the rack. So by moving this in 5 mils, you're going to be essentially just bringing everything back in line while still having that 5 mil extra rack to help with those thickening steering angles. The idea is, we'll just tighten that in there so it just pinches. Okay, so that is 5 mil. Just not so get this out. That's roughly 5 mil. So all we do now is we'll just screw the rod end in, and that should hopefully have just brought everything back in line. One side done. So obviously, when we move on to the next side, first we'll do the rod end so we know that that's roughly 5 mil, and then we'll put it in there. So let's do the other side. So we'll just loosen this side off. So again, about 5 mil, and then screw the rod end in. So you're moving this bolt backwards 5 mil, and screw the rod end on. And then, just like the other side, that'll be put on properly when we take it to get tracking done. So we'll just tighten this up so obviously it doesn't come loose when it is put on the car, and we'll sort it out later. So we'll move on to this bit then. So again, we just need to peel that off. Okay, so now that's bent out. This on, lefty loosey, righty tighty this time for real, so we're not going to tighten it up. There we go, slides off nicely. Same again, we'll take that off, don't need that. Put on our spacer. get our glue stick. Where have I put my glue stick? Under your feet. Loctite. It's not an actual glue stick, just in case people tell me very literally. So yeah, get the Loctite. Just put that on. As if you're watching crafting in primary school. Just a bit around the edge, because as then we screw it in, it'll go down the thread itself. Put plenty of that on. Screw it back in. Make sure it's nice and tight. Bit of grease on there. So yeah, slide the bit back on. Job's a good one. You got a steering rack with 2 rack spacers on. Now we'll just send this off to the garage now, and we'll get them put on as a one-er, so we don't have to faff with it on the drive. Because we can't get it home, it's a halt, so our main man Jake can help us out last time. So we'll give it to the garage. So the clip's broke on this side, so we'll just get some cable ties and cable tie on here and here. We managed to get the clips on the other side, so that's fine. Okay, so today also glass are coming to fix the windscreen, so then that's another job done. So yeah, let's have a see how they do the window, shall we?
So we got a bomb delivered in the post this morning. It just still tickles me that someone decided that putting an explosion in front of your face is better than having none in a crash. I mean, I understand it, but it still tickles the shit out of me. But yeah, I mean, bloody hell, when the MX5 goes to full track, definitely this is coming out, because Jesus Christ, this probably weighs about half the bloody car itself.
The choices you made, would you make them again?
Like and subscribe to the MX5.
Bang bang, won't stop till we're legends. Bang bang, bang bang, bang bang, won't stop till we're legends.
I've got keys, I've got 5 keys. Oh wow, I've got links as well, yeah. At least I've got 3 pairs of clothes. I haven't got clothes. 2 pants. As long as I've got 1 pair of boxes on, I'm fine.